All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So things are starting to get crazy for crypto again. All right. I'm going to talk about why this is happening and what you need to watch out for next. All right. We're going to look at a lot of other, things that have happened since our live stream we do on these channel Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Just subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications down below, and answer some of your questions and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. Get started today. Last but not least, nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. All right. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Culture Hives. We got Bruno, Lee, Francis, Mark, Sonny, Christoph, Joshua, Sonny, Lee, David. Welcome, Liam. All right, so things are starting to get crazy for crypto again. So let's talk about this and what you need to watch out for. Because I've been talking about this a lot on this channel recently. As crypto prices have started to recover from the lows that they, saw after, we broke this all-time high and kind of had this cool-off period over this past summer, I've been trying to figure out, like, hey, when is the switch going to get flipped where this really catches people's attention and things start to get crazy like they were kind of earlier this year, okay? And I've had some thoughts about this, but let me explain this, because basically, crypto's been climbing pretty steadily for a long time, and we're like, hey, what's going on here? Like, prices are going up, and things are not nearly as crazy as they were earlier this year. So first of all, you have to understand people's psychology about crypto. Most people, essentially, they have it backwards. They buy coins because they went up, not because they're down from their all-time highs, and they, see an opportunity there. So that's the first thing. And so, I was thinking about this. I was like, I bet what's going to happen is that Bitcoin's going to break its all-time high again and start setting new all-time highs. And then that's when you're going to see this massive sort of, mania from retail investors come into the space because they think, oh, well, crypto's going up again. Not because they saw it going up before it reached its all-time high, but because it started breaking new all-time highs. But things have already started to get crazy. And so why do I think this? Well, basically, Bitcoin just broke. Let's see here. My camera's not working. Let me just pull it up on the screen. Bitcoin just broke $50,000. Okay, so let me fix my camera here. Let's see here. How about now? Awesome. Perfect. So Bitcoin just broke $50,000 for the first time in 100 days. All right. And so I think it's a combination of this being a pretty strong psychological number. Okay. And then also the fact that we've seen other sort of major cryptocurrencies like Cardano and Solana break new all-time highs. We've seen other layer ones make some pretty impressive gains over the past month or so, like Avalanche, for example. Of course, they've got some pretty strong liquidity mining incentives coming out soon with different DeFi applications type of their platform. But that's what I really think it is, okay? So I think it's basically the fact that Bitcoin has reached a really strong new psychological number. I think that other major cryptocurrencies that a lot of people might have held in the past have either hit new all-time highs. So some things are breaking new all-time highs, and then other things are making pretty impressive gains, and that's what's catching attention. And ultimately, that's attracting people who are doing the opposite of what you really should do in crypto, which is, buy things when they're on a discount when nobody is watching them, versus people who just kind of wait and say, oh, well, it broke its all-time high, I should start buying again. And so if we are in a long-term, bull market and the prices continue to trend higher, people are probably going to do fine, but that's just the psychology of people, and that's why the space is starting to get crazy again. So we'll see if we start getting, some of the same mania around, dog coins and other meme coins like we did earlier this year. Of course, I always think Doge is here to stay. Not financial advice. I don't personally hold Doge myself, but we don't know about some of the smaller cap Doge, dog coins that are spinoffs. So let's actually check on the cryptocurrency prices and actually kind of look at it from a bit of a technical perspective. So let's look at Bitcoin. All right, so let's check out the Coinbase feed here. So let me just pull up on my screen. So Bitcoin, we have broken above $50,000. Of course, we're trying to firmly establish ourselves above that level. You did on different exchanges. This is a Coinbase feed. This is not an aggregated price feed here. But anyways, so, Bitcoin is strongly is firmly above these long-term moving averages, which is really what I want to see before we get really excited about Bitcoin being in a bull trend. I think we are. The fact that we've seen these price levels, we've corrected, we've gotten back above these long-term moving averages. This is really strong in my opinion. Like as always, I'm not a huge technical analysis person. Like I'm not super sophisticated in that area. I really try to pay attention to the fundamentals and try to focus on why prices move rather than just looking at the chart patterns. But I think the charts are helpful at confirming your assumptions and looking at it from a different angle. And as always, the moving averages make a ton of sense to me because, as always, the current performance of the asset, current price performance of the asset compared to its history, will kind of give you the details on which direction it's headed. Okay, and so Bitcoin is doing well above all of its long-term moving averages, which is super bullish for me. So I'm gonna check on the ETH price as well. So ETH is the same thing, performing well. Of course, we had a ton of major updates on the ETH network over the past several weeks. We can talk about those here in a second, kind of check on some of the burn statistics and usage statistics for ETH. But something pretty major happened on ETH yesterday, or actually happened last week, we got announced this morning, and I think it's a big deal for the crypto space in general, particularly around NFTs. Okay, so this is, let me pull it up on my screen here. This is Visa. All right, a major payments giant takes its first step into NFT commerce by purchasing a CryptoPunk. Okay, so the institutions are coming for the punks. The institutions are adopting NFT technology. This is pretty crazy. Okay, so let's look at the quick take. So Visa bought CryptoPunk 7610 as it enters into the world of NFT commerce. NFTs are an intersection of culture and commerce, Visa head of crypto said to the block here. So if you're not familiar with CryptoPunks, it's one of the OG crypto collectibles collection for non-fungible tokens, NFTs on the blockchain. Some punks have sold for astronomical sums, millions of dollars. Okay. But what you see here is something unique, which is basically institutions purchasing these as a long-term bet on the value of this technology itself, okay, and the value of these actual crypto collectibles, not just the entire non-fungible token space, but this particular collection. It's pretty major. So Visa is the first. I don't think they'll be the last person to do something like this, but it is kind of a big paradigm shift to see institutions actually dipping into the NFT world. Okay, so NFTs, of course, have been on a tear lately. I put out a video on Friday talking about how I've been doing some NFT collecting. Been slow to the party, of course, but that's okay. So you can check out that video if you haven't already. This basically talking about how I've found profitable NFT projects, what I look for, all that type of stuff. But we'll see if we keep talking about NFTs. People don't tend to like the videos as much when I talk about NFTs. I guess maybe there's just other channels that you'd rather watch that for, or maybe you just don't care about NFTs in general. Let me know in the comment section below. Let's see here. Somebody says, I'll never forget the day I woke up and made money while sleeping. It's addictive. Yep, there's a famous quote. I can't remember who it's by, and I'm probably going to get the quote wrong. So maybe it's either not that famous, or maybe I just don't have that good of a memory. But it's like, if you don't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, you'll work till you die. Somebody says, is this live? Yep, it's live. Somebody says, I don't NFT, never will. As Warren Buffett. I think I can't remember if I get the quote correct or not. I might have gotten it slightly wrong. So another thing that I saw here that's pretty interesting that you want to keep an eye on is what USDC just said about their actual reserves. So there's been a bunch of drama around stablecoins, pretty much since they've hit the market, particularly fiat-backed stablecoins. So what's the issue here? So whenever you create a stablecoin, basically, and you're a stablecoin issuer, how those cryptocurrencies work is if you're going to say a cryptocurrency is always worth $1, then basically you have to allow people. You as a stablecoin issuer always have to allow people to redeem their stablecoins for dollars or whatever they're pegged to. So how do you do that? Well, you have to, whatever the market cap of your stablecoin is, in a perfect world, you would basically have that amount of value backing your coin in reserves, so that if everybody who wanted to cash out of their cryptocurrency would come to you and be able to redeem it that way. Now, it's not always in a perfect world, okay? And so you see different strategies where people don't have where stablecoins aren't fully backed. Maybe it's like fractional reserve, like how banks work, where only a certain amount of deposits are actually kept in the reserves because they don't expect that everybody comes to withdraw their money at the same time. But there's been a lot of FUD, notably around Tether. Okay, Tether's stablecoin that we've used for a long time. People are always like, hey, Tether's not backed. Like, we want to see the proof, all this type of stuff. And so we're seeing competition in the stablecoin space really try to be transparent about the reserves and try to give people confidence in the integrity of those reserves. And so that's what we saw from USDC here. Basically, USDC reserves will be reversed to cash and U.S. treasuries only. Because sometimes you'll see people with like how they talk about their reserves, and sometimes the cash equivalents, right? It's sort of like when you look at the nutrition facts on like a food package or something like that, and sometimes you'll see like other natural flavors or something like that, right? Or like other natural ingredients. And it's sort of like, okay, well, what does that mean? Same type of thing when you look at how stable coins are backed sometimes. There's some head scratchers in there. There's some things that don't always look satisfying when you're trying to audit where the funds actually are. So I think that's what you're seeing here is basically USDC trying to work against that to say, hey, we have really solid backing. Basically, it's just cash and it's just U.S. treasuries. Let's see here. Somebody says NFT more like a joke. Trust me, I understand the sentiment, but when you see people like Visa buying NFTs, I tell you what really changed my mind on NFTs, and you can watch that video if you haven't already. So basically, what changed my mind on NFTs is the utility of NFTs beyond just looking at the pictures that you could potentially right-click save, okay? So there's that next level of basically saying like, okay, well now you have ownership of this thing, so that's a value add, all right? But then you can take it one step beyond that, which is basically that ownership is now programmable, and it actually gives you, it can give you access to certain things. So people are buying NFTs, a lot of them, of course, for just quick flips and profits, but you have some diamond-handed holders for specific collections like CryptoPunks. We're starting to see that with other, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example. But so why would these people be diamond-handed? Well, some of the people just want them as long-term stores of value, but others are actually using it like a membership to an actual club, and that's kind of like the Bored Ape Yacht Club scenario, where essentially, like, if you hold it, you now have membership to this community, and that could get you actual, benefits in the real world. It could get you real benefits in online communities, all that type of stuff. And I think, and this is where, I don't personally spend money on these types of things in the real world, but a lot of people do. So, like, take example, like a country club membership, for example. Like, I don't know what you might call that in a different country besides the United States, but this is basically where people go like play golf, and there's like a pool, and you have like nice stuff. You could go and like buy membership to that, and you get all these benefits. And like if you are an affluent individual, then you would be networking with other affluent individuals there, and something good might come of that. Some people just want it for appearances, all that type. So it doesn't really matter what the issue is. The whole point is people spend lots of money on this in the real world, and I see that same thing playing out here in the digital world with NFTs. Okay. Now, whether you personally like that or not, or whether you personally would participate in that or not, is a different story. But the whole idea is that people are definitely willing to do that over here, and they're definitely willing to do it here. And that's one of the biggest things that changed my mind about NFTs for this particular use case. Now, for the bigger use cases, like everything we can do with NFTs, insurance contracts, real estate contracts, any digital contract, intellectual property rights, I've always been bullish on that stuff long term. But the real truth is, we lack the regulatory clarity on lots of those things, and we lack people who issue those things in the real world deciding that they want to use blockchain technology right now for those types of things. So you have to look at the use cases that are actually taking off. Well, there's going to be no regulation around digital membership. There's going to be no regulation around digital collectibles, the art world, all that type of stuff. So let's look at the stuff that's actually taking off, and why does it have staying power, and why does it have long-term potential? Well, all the reasons I just talked about. Somebody says Mila Kunis has her own NFT. I was shocked. Stunner Cats. Yeah, I've seen it because it's her and Ashton Kutcher, and I became aware of it because of that viral video that Ashton posted on Twitter, which was his interview with Mila. Let's see if I can just find it. I want to play it because I finally got my audio working through my system, and we can actually just test this out. Let's see if I can play the video. I'm gonna see if it actually works. Hold on. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so let's see if I can get it working here. Because if you haven't seen it, you definitely gotta watch it.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's crypto?
It's digital currency.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's blockchain?
It's like what information's stored on. So like, it's, what information is stored on.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's decentralization?
Oh, there's not one person in charge of anything. So it's everybody keeps everybody else in check. So there's not one big unit or entity to uphold everybody to the same code. It's the people holding each other responsible.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
What's Ethereum?
So Ethereum is a general purpose blockchain. So unlike other blockchains like Bitcoin, for example, that are just designed around one application. So the
Oh, it's so good. I won't play the whole thing because we don't have to belabor the point. I think once you get to the punchline, you get it. It's pretty funny. So it's awesome. She's just kind of unassuming, sitting there. He's kind of quizzing her. She's a little uncomfortable because she maybe feels a little bit out of her depth explaining these topics. And then you cut straight to you kind of get into that. It sucks you in, and you're kind of focused on this. You're waiting for what happens next, and something completely unexpected pops out, which is Vitalik. And he starts explaining exactly what Ethereum is. It's awesome. I showed this to somebody actually who I thought kind of had a little bit of knowledge of crypto, and they had no idea who it was. So if you're watching this video, that's Vitalik Buterin's the mastermind behind Ethereum. It's pretty awesome. It says Vitalik is a spy. All right, so let's see if we got any questions here in the chat. Sorry, my light's running out back there, so I don't know if you. I think it just fell over actually. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Somebody says he's the newest member of the cast of That 70s Show. So, good question. When will crypto's incentive cleaning up pollution, incentivize cleaning up pollution, and how could the industry offer such incentives? Thoughts? That's a good question. I think there could be a way where you basically have sort of any bounties that you have for anything in the software world could potentially be applied with crypto. It's just you're gonna have to find a way to have issuers who accept those bounties or actually grant the rewards for those bounties. Try to minimize trust in that way. So there'll be some kind of trade-offs there. But I think honestly, a lot of the ways that crypto is like where's crypto is headed is a world of trust minimization, not complete trustlessness. Because I think this trips a lot of people up when they start thinking about blockchain, because a completely airtight, decentralized, trustless world is really hard to pull off, and that's why you kind of have this Bitcoin maximalism versus these other types of crypto philosophies. All right, you got the kind of the Bitcoin people who are hardcore into Bitcoin. They say like, we don't like anything else because Bitcoin's the only yeah. You get the point. But anyways, it's like decentralized finance is a good example. So decentralized finance is not an airtight, like completely decentralized world. I hope y'all know that if you're watching this video. People complain about the name. They say, hey, DeFi is not the right name. It should be like OpenFi or something like that, which I'd be fine with rebranding that. But the whole idea here is you still have a massive benefit, which is transparency, and which is one thing you completely lack in the current financial system. You have to just trust that people are actually reporting their books accurately. You have to. There's all this trust involved, especially with publicly traded companies, and then basically you only find out stuff reported quarterly. So with DeFi, you have all these massive benefits of seeing things in real time. Okay. Completely transparent, like anybody could audit it if they had to, but then you also speed up auditing through automation. Like nobody has to do crazy double entry bookkeeping when you have a public ledger that you can just query and find out what the truth is. So those are all like massive benefits of decentralized finance. Of course, also the permissionless aspect where you don't have to jump through all these hoops. You don't have to be approved to participate in it. Even if it's not a completely airtight, decentralized system like I was talking about a minute ago, there's still all these benefits that you can get from the open nature of it. Especially the ETH bull run just starting. I think so. Yep, I think you're right. Somebody says, as a developer with web technologies, experience, React, Node.NET, which blockchain development tech stack is recommended to start with? Ada, Chainlink, anything else? Well, I don't know really what you're going to do on Cardano right now. I always recommend Ethereum because a lot of there's lots of reasons. It's got the biggest developer ecosystem. You've got the most used blockchain network that's verifiable by the fees that are actually getting paid on the network, the number of applications on the number of users. It's where a vast majority of the activity in DeFi is happening. It's where a vast majority of the high-value NFTs are happening. That's where Visa just purchased their CryptoPunk, all this type of stuff. We're transitioning to a brighter future for Ethereum with cheaper fees, with layer 2 scaling solutions, faster with Ethereum 2.0, all that type of stuff. Okay. And so that's what I always recommend. So what are your thoughts on, let's see, I don't even know what that is. What aspects of DeFi are centralized? A lot of DeFi projects do have admin keys in their early phases. They're not always just like one person can sit there and do a rug pull or something like that. But that's really common for that. And even if they're somewhat decentralized from the smart contract development standpoint, sometimes there's a centralized entity behind it. But you see this pattern a lot in crypto where something starts out somewhat centralized because here's the thing. Every problem is made easier through centralization, okay? Scalability is completely fixable just through centralizing. That's one of the reasons you see stuff like Binance Smart Chain pop up. Like, so you just take Ethereum nodes, you fork the clients, you raise the gas limit, and then you reduce the node count, and that makes a faster, cheaper chain. But the long-term consequences of that is that your chain's going to get so big and bloated that you can't do it on consumer hardware anymore, and you may run out of hardware to really perform, okay? Because at the end of the day, you've got to have things that index the chain, other applications that want to read data from the chain, and if you can't do that with consumer hardware either, then that's bad. So anyways, the whole point is like every problem gets easier with centralization, but the whole idea is that you're trying to create something that is more decentralized or as decentralized as possible or sufficiently decentralized, okay? And so when you're doing that, there's a lot of hard problems to solve. You have to make different trade-offs, okay? So with DeFi, you start off centralized because you have more control in the beginning, which is what you want, because you're effectively creating like alpha software. And so whenever you have alpha software, like people might lose money, right? And so you want to try to fix that problem while you're trying to work at the bugs at the beginning, but decentralize it more and more over time. And whenever that's more robust, you make it more decentralized. Now, that involves a significant amount of trust in the beginning. But as long as everybody's on board with that, understands that, it's clearly advertised that way, then that's fine. But it's not fine if people don't know, and then it's not advertised that way, or the worst, it's advertised as being, trustless and is not. Then that's false advertising. It's bad, and that's probably a scam. Someone talked about tokenized real world like property. I just don't get it how it works. Well, it's pretty simple in technical implementation. It's a lot harder in regulatory implementation. So basically, you would just take the ownership to a property, and then you would basically divide that ownership into a certain amount of tokens, and then people could, purchase a certain amount of tokens that would, represent the shares in the property. Someone says, I learned so much from your content over the last 3 months. Unfortunately, I joined at the end of the bull run, lost 300, but now I've profited from your educational videos. I was grateful. Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, you can't always control when you get into crypto, like, because you might just find out about it later. Like, it's timing is everything. But at the end of the day, like one of the reasons I make these videos and what's so big on, becoming a developer long-term is because that's one of the best ways to make long-term sustainable, life-changing money with crypto, which is what a lot of people are looking for. Is actually changing your career and doubling down on your technical skills, because blockchain is one of the highest paying fields in tech, and demand for blockchain developers is insanely high. And if you're going to make life-changing returns in crypto, most people have to invest a significant amount of money to do that. All right. And it's a situation where most people are going to like get those insane outsized returns that are actually life-changing, typically have to start with a significant amount of cash. And so if you don't have that either, that's challenging. And that's one of the reasons I'm so bullish on the actual skills themselves, because that's a better way for more people to make long-term, life-changing money with this technology. Somebody says property is a good example of off-chain and on-chain collaboration. Laws and countries working with that is another thing altogether. Yeah, it's true. That's one of the biggest things that's holding it back, because the tech is there, and honestly, like, real estate would be easy to settle on something like Ethereum right now, even at the current state of the network. Even if we didn't have layer 2s, even if we didn't improve the fees at all, real estate would still be fine, because the number of transactions that happen per day. Let's see if we can actually get the statistics here. Okay, so let's see here. Let's just do some napkin numbers here. So this is going to be really rough. I mean, I don't even know. I haven't fact checked these numbers at all, but let's just kind of check it out here. I'm just going to kind of improvise this and see where this goes. So 5.64 million homes were sold in all of 2020. So 5, 6, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 5.64. Okay, divided by 365. That's, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. So 15,000 homes per day on average. So you could very easily do 15,000, transactions per day on Ethereum as it is. Okay. Because if you look here, I'll show you to verify the statistics. You can go to Etherscan, look at Ethereum transactions per day. All right, and currently we are doing 1.2 million transactions per day on the Ethereum network. Okay, so 15,000 transactions per day for real estate would be nothing. So this is rental agreements via blockchain, ownership, time series, etc., etc. Yeah, you can do lots of stuff. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. We just put out a new one about how to learn Solidity in an hour. Okay, so check that out if you haven't already. And if you like those videos, and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely, I should become a blockchain master step-by-step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got, and until next time, thanks for watching.